bookworms.
I'm Book Mouse.
And I'm Book Kitty. And this is our BookNook. This week we're going to be doing our Newbie Booktube Tag. So stay tuned and find out why we're here, why we love BookTube, and why we decided to join the community.
Being that today's video is airing just a few days before Halloween, we decided that we wanted to dress up and have a little fun with it. And thus, you are having Dorothy and a witch.
So everybody be safe, no drinking and driving, and have a happy Halloween. So let's get right down to it. Mouse, why did you start this channel?
Honestly, I am an introvert, and a very good friend of mine suggested that I needed to get out of my comfort zone and get a hobby to spread my wings.
I wonder who this friend was.
Couldn't imagine.
No idea.
How about you?
I did it because I knew my friend wasn't going to be able to do it alone. I thought a team would be a better option. I kind of let life get in the way of my love of reading over the last decade or so, and I really kind of got away from the habit. And this is a way to force myself to get back into a structured habit of reading, because I really do love it, and I sometimes need to give myself the permission to do so. And of course, I want to share my love of books with all y'all, and something fun to do with my friend. The next Newbie Booktube Tag question is, what are some fun and exciting things you can bring to BookTube? Well, for one, I've noticed that there's not a whole lot of partnerships on BookTube. It's mostly singular booktubers on their own channel, which is fine, don't get me wrong, I really enjoy y'all's channels, but I think that us doing it as a partnership kind of gives us something to spice it up. We have somebody to bounce it off with, and not just the camera, which is fun and all, but we already knew and trusted each other, so it's I figured it would give us some chemistry on camera and kind of add to it, you know?
It does. And
Two different opinions in one
That's
video.
what I was thinking. We're good enough friends that we can have different opinions and share them and still be like, okay.
Yeah.
So I think that's something that you're right. We do bring that. The duo dynamic.
Because I mean, so far we've agreed on most of our books and liking them, but there's gonna come a day when we're gonna read a book, you're gonna hate it, I'm gonna love it, and we're gonna banter. It's okay. Or vice versa. But yeah, I think that is the most fun and exciting thing we can bring to YouTube. Now, I do have some other ideas, but I do have a video announcement planned, so I don't want to give too much away in the Newbie Booktube Tag video. You're going to have to stay tuned for that big announcement, because we got some cool things coming that I think y'all will enjoy.
All right, so the next question is, what are you most excited for about this new channel?
I'm excited about connecting with other booktubers and other authors, because I think networking really, especially in today's day and age, it's essential for any kind of business. And being that I love reading and I love writing, I figured it was a great way to bridge the gap. I'm really excited just to see where it goes, just to see how far we can take this.
Yeah, part of me is like, yes, I get to legitimately read all the time now. I was one of those people that felt guilty, like if I'm reading a book when I should be doing the floors or doing the dishes or something else. And now I found that by giving myself permission to read for a purpose, I'm enjoying my books more, because I always felt guilty when I was reading.
So it was kind of overshadowing your experience.
It was overshadowing it.
Yeah.
And now I'm excited that I get to read different books that I would have never thought to read. The suggestions y'all are giving us are coming in, and I have been pleasantly surprised by some of the suggestions. And Book Kitty has told me about books that she's read. I've told her about books that I have read. And I think one of the things that I'm excited about for this channel is opening up and sharing. Something I don't do well.
But you're working on it.
I'm working on it, and the more I do it, the more excited I get.
Why do you love reading so much?
I love delving into other worlds, exploring other places I've never been, seeing it through someone else's eyes. I'm a bit of a homebody. I have traveled quite a bit, but now I'm a homebody, and I like going on little adventures. Safe adventures where I'm not the one getting shot or chased by a gorilla or anything like
Or
that.
decapitated.
Or decapitated. So I like to read these adventures and have a little excitement in my life for a little while. It makes it easier for me to go back to life knowing that there's another adventure tomorrow that I can read about for a little bit. So, Book Kitty, why do you love reading?
Well, I love the ability to escape into a fantastical world while still afforded the opportunity of imagination. You love reading, I love stories. And the differentiation I make there is that I don't care if it's a book, a TV show, or a movie. A lot of people who are big bookworms are adamantly against TV or movies or just don't simply like it as much. For me, I love stories. It doesn't matter what form it comes in, but with reading, I'm afforded that opportunity of my own imagination to fill in the blanks, to fill in the imagery. What I love about movies and TV is the graphics that they put into it, you know, the skill that comes with the editing and the post-production and everything that makes it so complete of a story. But with this, I'm afforded that imagination, and it just gives it its own little notch above the rest.
I see your point on that. I've read books before that have been made into movies, and then I've gone to the movie and I'm like, that's not what the character looks like, because I've built it up in my mind based on what I've read.
But when you go back and look, sometimes you see the description does fit what you see.
It's just their interpretation, not mine.
Right.
But, you know, that's part of the fun of reading, putting your interpretation on it.
So, we've established that we love reading. But what book or series got you into reading?
Honestly, for as long as I can remember, there's been books in our house. My mother was a school teacher. I remember her at a very young age reading to us at bedtime every night, a couple chapters. But I think, you know, when I finally got hooked was when my grandmother gave me Anne McCaffrey's Restorie. She said it was mine, all mine, just mine. I didn't have to take it back to the library. I read that book, and it was like a hunger started. What's next? What's the next book? Grandma, send me another one. Mom, I need to go to the library and pick out a book I want. And then it just became this monster that had to be fed. Any kind of book, even if it's not a genre I like, I have to be reading words and interpreting them and feeling them. And my copy of Restorie, I won't tell you what year I got it, but she finally died a dignified death when it fell apart. I read it so much and I kept it for so long.
Wow, I don't think I've ever had a book that long. All the books I grew up with are packed at my parents' house.
I know just some of the books that we've talked about on our YouTube channel, you know, what we've read, and we've talked about series that we like, but what got you hooked? What book was the trigger that got you
I
going?
honestly can't even remember.
Oh.
I've been reading so long, I can't remember what got me into it. I look back, and I really thought about this question, and I look back, and I can't remember one moment. Like, I was just always reading. Like, I can't even go back and be like, okay, I started at age X. No, I have no idea. I do know that some of the earliest books that I enjoyed or that imprinted on my memory are like the Sweet Valley Highs, the Nancy Drews, new and old, the Babysitter's Club, the Boxcar Children, Goosebumps, Animorphs. I actually liked Animorphs more than I liked Goosebumps, and I think that's an unpopular opinion, but I don't care. And those are series that got me into it, but I remember one of the earliest books I absolutely loved, and that was Black Beauty. And you know what? I found out yesterday that it's in public domain.
Ooh.
Which will make a difference when you see my announcement video.
Do you have any questions for your favorite booktubers. What is a question you would ask them?
I have 3.
Okay.
I have 3. One is, do you still love booktubing, or has it become a chore? Has it become something that you have to do because that's what you're doing? My second question would probably be, how do you pick your books? The ones that you review. I know a lot of the videos that y'all do are like book hauls and TBRs and things like that, where you're kind of talking about a chunk of books. But when you do individual book reviews for YouTube, how do you pick your books? Is it just what you happen to read, or do you choose it for your channel? And my third question is, why don't more booktubers do book reviews, more book reviews, I mean. I see a lot of channels are just full of like book hauls and TBRs and wrap-ups and things like that, which are great. I mean, they add variety to a channel for sure, but I'm curious. Yeah, I'm curious as to why I don't find more reviews on specific books, just discussing things about it. What would you ask?
The big question I have is, in many ventures that people do, I always hear that there comes a point where it's make or break. Have you reached that point where it's either too difficult or it's not going the way you thought it would, but you made it through it? How did you get through? You know, the hump. How did you get past the hump?
Yeah.
And, you know, do you have any advice for others, you know, when the hump comes? Because it's going to come.
Aside from just keep going, because
Yes.
I mean, we can all say just keep going, but how many people can actually take that advice?
Exactly. So I'd like to hear from someone who's been there, made it past the hump, and succeeded, and find out how did they do it? What mindset did you have when it came? And how did you use that mindset to get past it?
So Mouse, what challenges do you think starting a booktube channel will be the hardest to overcome?
What I see as a personal challenge, I have a personal thing where when I start something new, whether it be going to the gym, learning a new skill, or anything like that, if I have this instant gratification thing, and it's a self-esteem thing. If I don't see good results right away, I start to get so discouraged. What did I do wrong? Why isn't it working? What can I do better? And I think it's going to be my own self-confidence that this is a new thing for me. There's going to be hiccups. I'm going to have to get over my shyness, and I think that's going to be the biggest challenge. What about you? I mean, you're actually handling quite a bit of the technical part of the channel. Do you see challenges in that, or what do you find is your biggest challenge?
The funny thing is we're doing this video a little bit late, we've already put out several videos, so I'm going to start with what I thought, what is, and what I think will be problems to overcome. What I thought was going to be the hardest to overcome was the video editing. I knew absolutely nothing about editing, so I really thought that I use Lightworks. I don't know what y'all use for your video editing, but I use Lightworks, and I thought learning the program and learning how to video edit it and make it actually look good, along with lighting and the camera setup and everything, I thought that was going to be the biggest challenge. The camera setup and the audio has been a bit of a challenge. We've had some hiccups and issues there, but nothing that's, too, I don't know, channel death. But right now, I think so far our biggest hump is trying to get views and subscribers. I noticed there's a few other new booktubers who have the same or less videos than we do, and they have a lot more followers, and I don't really know how they accomplish this. I'm sharing, I've got my friends like watching, or at least the ones that are willing to take the time out of their day to do that, watching my videos. And a couple of them share them on Facebook, I share them, I tweet and Instagram and all of that, but I think that right now is our biggest hump is getting views and subscribers. And then future, I think, is going to be staying consistent and staying on a schedule. I think life has a habit of getting in the way, as I previously mentioned, and I think that the hardest thing to overcome is to actually carve out the time and stay consistent and stay on a schedule and keep the videos coming. And that's kind of my biggest fear, is like that we're gonna fall apart because something got in the way, and then it's gonna snowball. So that's probably my biggest fear.
I can see that.
When did you start reading?
I believe I was about 5 years old. We had naps in kindergarten. And somebody wouldn't nap during nap time.
I wonder who that is.
I would poke the other kids to get them to talk to me, wiggle between the mats. Finally, the teacher was like, okay, come here. So at the age of 5, during nap time, I got sent across the hall to the first grade classroom to read with them.
I honestly don't remember not reading.
It was always a
It
fact.
was always a part of me, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where do you like to read?
Everywhere. Look at our description. I'm the lady with a book in my purse, a book in the car, a book in the bathroom, a book at work. I use reading so I don't have empty time. If I'm on a bus going somewhere, I have a book. If I'm on my lunch break, I have a book. If I'm at the doctor's office, who is never on time, I have a book, because I know I'm going to be sitting there for at least 30 minutes. That's a good 3, 4, 5 chapters.
Yeah.
So, and I have my favorite spot at home in the corner of the couch where I have a nice lumpy arm just right for me, and I'll curl up in a ball and prop that book up, and I'll just, with the cats, read. Sometimes I can read with the cats. Sometimes there's a big paw in the middle of the page. I literally will read anywhere there's enough light, and sometimes there may not be enough light. I will make some light. How do you pick a place to read?
I generally read on the couch in the front room, which has no TV. Matter of fact, the whole room has no electronics. I'll read outside in the back breezeway every now and then. I'll kind of alternate if I'm doing, because I usually do like a day of reading. At least for the channel reading. Anything other than that, I'll just kind of fill in whatever. But for the book, for the channel, because we split the book half and half for the week, I'll spend like the entirety of Thursday reading on the couch, alternating between the couch and the outdoor breezeway to give myself some fresh air and a change of position. And I'm in my 30s and my back doesn't like to sit any particular way for too long.
Yes, I have gone to get up and had no feeling from the waist down.
Drop.
Face first into the floor. Well,
So we have one question left.
What do you like to read?
What do I like to read? I prefer my stories in series, is the first way I'm going to answer that. TVs, movies, books, I prefer them in series. I like to see where else the world can go. I mean, yeah, each one has its own story to tell, but there's so much more going on in the world. No matter if it's, set in our modern world or set in some fantastical other planet or whatever. I always want to know more about the world, because like, who doesn't finish a really great book and then want more? So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's what series are great for. Generally read young adult or adult fiction. I very rarely read a nonfiction. Every now and then something will pique my interest, but you really can't count on me reading nonfiction. And I generally, so my number one genre is definitely fantasy. The more magic and mythical creatures and worlds that we don't know, the better for me. I love fantasy. I think it opens up so much imagination for everybody, writer and reader included. But I also, more specifically, I do tend to gravitate more toward the paranormal fantasy, whether it be romance or mystery or adventure or whatever it is. I do tend toward the paranormal. I also read a bunch of sci-fi too, but I generally stick to those three. How about you?
I am all over the map. Top pick, I have to say sci-fi fantasy. I do like historical fictions though. Seeing, is it alternative history or real history? I also kind of like mysteries, like murder mysteries, and
I like myself some Agatha Christie.
yes,
I'll give you that.
I like Agatha Christie. I like the Poirot books. I like things like that. And
You'd probably like John Grisham then.
I have read John Grisham. I like John Grisham. It's not so much that I like horror, but I have specific authors that I'll read.
Okay.
Dean Koontz. I'll read those because he puts all kinds of twisty things in it. I like a lot of genres. I don't go for the nonfiction as much unless something just happens to catch my fascination. A guest on a talk show that I happen to catch, and I think the guest is fascinating and they're promoting a book. Once in a blue moon, I'll pick a really old historical character and read a biography about them because I want to know more. For the most part, I'm kind of in line with you for a lot of the topics, but I will branch out every so often just to tickle my curiosity. I think we have, between the two of us, we've got a wide variety of stuff that we like to read.
Thank y'all for joining us. I had a lot of fun with this one.
I did too. It really made us have to think about it.
Yeah.
Join us next week as we delve into The War Queen by J.M. Robison. This was actually a book that was sent to us by the author.
Really excited because it's better than just grabbing a book off the shelf.
We're going to delve into new territory and
See what happens.
see what happens. This has been Book Mouse.
And Book Kitty. Signing off.
Yeah.